Let's push on and take a moment to react to some of the ups and downs from Saturday afternoon. Ipswich Town, the big story, back in the big league, the Premier League, for the first time since 2002. Let's hear from their boss, Kieran McKenna. He says there really weren't any targets at the start of the season.
Honestly, I don't think I even thought about it. Of course, trying to stay up is the first base, but it's not like we set that as a goal. But of course, going up to a new division, you want to make sure that you stay in it. And beyond that, I can't remember ever having a conversation about that. It was just, honestly, all the conversations were about how do we keep improving, how do we build on the great culture that we had. Let's see if our playing style can still be successful in the Championship. We thought we would travel well upwards with what we'd built, but to test that out and see if we could still stay brave and go on the attack. And that was all the mantras, really. That and 46 games, we really vowed that we'd run ourselves into the floor for 46 games and give everything we got. And they were the only goals that we set. And it's worked pretty well.
I can safely say, Mark, I've never met anyone like Kieran McKenna before. Someone so dedicated to his craft, so professional, uber professional until the very last minute. And even then, there's no celebration, there's no sort of outpouring of emotion from him. This is business. He was hell-bent on getting Ipswich to the top division, playing his style of football, and he's done it. They've done the double bounce. Yeah,
but you look at the statistics from their last two seasons, it's an absolute joke, really. The number of goals scored, number of points gained is just incredible. So for them to go and do what they've done this year, I was really lucky to spend some time with him when I was out of work. So I've seen really close how good the environment is, how well-oiled his operation is, and you just see that a team that, in amongst those big hitters, if you like, at the top end, they've been incredibly consistent, incredibly calm in amongst all of that, and in the end, the team's a reflection of you as a coach, and that is certainly the case there.
They've scored 193 goals in 2 seasons. I mean, I call their football not gung-ho. I think gung-ho's very unfair. I just think they are so high octane, so high risk. They don't care if they can see goals. They know they can outscore you. And you look at it, I've talked so many times about the bolt-on, bolt-off attack, the plug-and-play attack, Curtis. They frighten anyone.
They do. But the thing is, they're structured. They do go forward with numbers, but they're structured behind it. I don't think you ever find them... Listen, when they're late on in games, they maybe send an extra centre half. One of their centre halves is usually coming into the attacking box and stuff like that. But they're very structured in everything they do. And to be honest, anyone that had played against them in League One would have fancied them a little bit. I'm not to say that they thought they were definitely going to be up there, but you'd have fancied them to push the playoffs, yeah. just because of how they played football and Kieran McKenna. But the fact that they've broken that relegated 3 alliance, they've broken that by getting to the top 2, but also they did it with the majority of a League One squad.
The recruitment's been incredible.
Oh, it's been incredible.
£4 million spent to bring in a striker from League 2 and Ali Alhamadi. Kiefer Moore's a fantastic signing and his goals have been crucial. But to lose George Hurst, that was huge. Jeremy Sarmiento, again, another player. I don't know how he's not playing in the Brighton first team. Omari Hutchinson yep. has been a revelation. I don't know how he's not playing in the Chelsea first team. He said he wants to stay at Ipswich next season. But the back line and the goalkeeper, we haven't talked about Václav Hladký, someone who was very much second choice last year. Christian Walton gets injured. And you're kind of expecting 10 games in, right, Walton will be back and they're looking for a reason just to fade him out. Christian Walton played 2 minutes at the end of the game on Saturday to have that Championship appearance this season, because Hladký was known for playing out from the back, but I mean Kieran McKenna stuck with him, as well as the back line. Leif Davis, excellent, but Harry Clark, George Edmondson, Cam Burgess has been a man mountain as well. It's such an incredible story how they've done it. There's no parachute payments, no ridiculous fees, no crazy transfers. They've just done it organically, it feels.
You didn't mention my favourite as well, Wes Burns.
Oh, what a player.
He frightened me. He's strong, he's quick. Honestly,
literally.
Honestly, when you play against him, he's strong, he's quick. He plays as a right wing back, but plays on the final line. He's decent in the air, even though he's small. He's robust. He came from Fleetwood. Like, he's played lower league football. It's not like he's come from an academy and then he's just fell into Ipswich. No, he done the hard yards and now he's going to be playing in the Premier League. And he will play a big part for them.
He will.
And listen, he's at a good club in Ipswich, but you wouldn't be surprised he's one that could take a trajectory, depending on how Ipswich finish, that he could go again. Because I believe, honestly, having played against him, I think he's top draw.
I think I agree with you. I mean, I think recruitment's been great, but lots of those players have got a story and a point to prove that they're probably punching above what anyone expected of them.
Definitely.
So recruitment great with an idea of how they're playing, but that's such a well coached team. So and any 11 can play, but it looks like Ipswich.
They're not just buying players willy nilly though. They're not going out. There's no scattergun approach.
No.
They've got to find players who will fit the system.
Really targeted recruitment, brilliantly coached team. Whoever plays, as I say, it just works. They can make 3, 4, 5 changes, and the game's the game. And they've got that amazing thing called momentum, and the buzz in the stadium's amazing. And I heard your piece there at the weekend, but that is it. The atmosphere's great, and everyone's got an energy right now.
We'll talk about the stadium in a minute, and we'll talk about Portman Road in a minute. But I'd imagine that the celebrations are, and then the Championship Player Final at the end of the month. Let's just crack on talking about Ipswich, and I want to talk about the Portman Road factor, because I remember when there was 8,000 going in there on a Tuesday night, 9,000. A lot of people have fallen out of love with that football club. Right now, there's a struggle for tickets. I saw people outside the ground on Saturday desperate for tickets, and there's a desperate need for that stadium to be expanded. It is amazing what good football and a return to good football and winning football can do.
Well, I heard Ed Sheeran speaking to the players, and he said he needs to earn the sponsorship money some way. So I think he's going to have to flog himself a bit more to get a new stadium. But listen, it's a club that's well supported. They do have good financial backing. Whether that can compare to other Premier League teams, I'm not sure. But building a new stadium, I think, would be something that they did organically. I don't think they'd be jumping straight into, we've been in the Premier League 1 year.
No, there's a plan to rebuild one stand, the Cobbold stand over on the far side, because it needs it, and they want to upgrade naturally. And I think they've got an infrastructure plan. That's what I love about Game Changer. They have like a massive infrastructure plan. You know what the training ground's like at the moment, and straight away that's what they want to plough their money into. Yeah. So the question is, how do you balance that with ambition for the Premier League?
It's tough, isn't it? And those clubs that go up and take Premier League money, it gives you a huge chance to invest in that infrastructure. And you can't go all or nothing probably in 1 year. It's gradually building it. You look at clubs like Norwich that have had that sort of up and down, and you can really build a club over that period of time. Of course, they'll want to go up and stay there. But what I think is brilliant for the EFL pyramid is that we don't constantly see the ones that come down are the ones that go back up. And there was a danger of that happening this year. So it's all power to the EFL and the pyramid when a team like Ipswich does what they've done, because that keeps everybody's dream alive, that is possible, rather than seeing the same ones go all the time. So I think it's a great story this year, and hopefully they can go on and build and be a real good team in the league next year in the Premier League.
What's the ceiling for Kieran McKenna with this football club?
I don't see one. I honestly, it's going to be interesting to see how they start. We looked at Burnley last year, and Burnley walked the league, to be honest, and Vincent Kompany's been very pragmatic with the way that he wanted to play. He hasn't changed in terms of his style. And when it
will Kieran McKenna change though?
No, and that's what I'm trying to say. So that's why it's interesting to see if they get a few results early, then that's fine. But if all of a sudden they were to have a few beatings like Burnley got, would he change it? And I don't think he will, because I think that's his philosophy, and I think that's what he'll stand by. And I don't know, maybe he may feel they're better equipped to do that, but ultimately winning games is what you need, and especially when you first get up, is about getting those first wins on the board and trying to get points where you can, particularly at home, and then just to be in and around an area which is safe, and then from there hopefully your playing style then gets you over the line. But at first anyway, people aren't going to take them seriously. People are going to underestimate them. They're going to get points places where people are going to be like, oh my gosh, they've just won there. Because
Portman Road's going to be a factor though.
Yeah, it will be. Even though it's a big in terms of seats and stuff like that. It's an older stadium. It has been a
proper ground.
Yeah, it's been a Premier League stadium, but obviously that wasn't over 20 years ago. So I remember I was working in Sainsbury's watching a game with George Burley on the sideline. So so
what a team that was.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but the fans are ready for it. I believe the team are ready for it. So fair play to them.
Last time Ipswich Town were in the Premier League, their first season back, does anyone remember where they finished?
I think it was 6th.
You're
If I
right.
remember right.
You are right. They finished sixth under George Burley. They went into the UEFA Cup. Sorry, they finished fifth. I apologise.
Oh God, there you go.
Finished fifth.
Ruined me.
There was no sixth place UEFA Cup spot there. They went into the UEFA Cup. They got eliminated in the third round, and then they got relegated that season after selling Richard Wright. They brought in Matteo Sereni. It didn't quite work. Finidi George played from that season.
Titus Bramble there as well.
Titus was there. Sixto Peralta. Great player, cracking player. Pablo Canago, Marcus Stewart, Mark Venus, Jim
Finidi George.
Finidi George, Herman Haridason, great team. There you go. That's us our reminiscing of Ipswich done there in the Premier League next season. We're going to be talking more about the playoffs though after 10 o'clock.